Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. The weather here in Sydney was sparkling over the weekend. It does not yet feel like winter, but I know it's coming. So I had a fabulous staycation last week and I'm rested and ready to get back into it. Thanks to everybody for signing up for free 15 minutes. There's a lot of you today, so I hope to get through all those pretty snappily. So this month we're talking about diarrhea. And I know there's a little song that goes along with that, but I'm not going to sing it for you today. So today we will start by talking about acute and chronic diarrhea. What are some of the causes of diarrhea? So for those of you who are new to this page, I'm Anne Sinclair and I'm the Digestive Detective. So there are two types of diarrhea essentially, acute and chronic. Basically, if you have diarrhea from food poisoning or from an infectious agent like a virus or a bacteria or a parasite, it's usually acute. And this sort of diarrhea is generally self-limiting, so it'll run itself out. And it's the body's way to get rid of something that it's not happy with. So most of the time we want to let this diarrhea run its course. We don't want to try and stop it. Because if you've picked up a parasite in barley or something like that, you'll want to get as much of it out of your system as you can. Chronic diarrhea, though, on the other hand, is a really common sign of food allergy. So the more you ingest the allergic food to you can cause a release of histamines and other compounds, and these compounds can have a laxative effect on you. So start with the most common issues. Think about, you don't want to be too invasive when you're treating diarrhea, so start looking at what some of the bigger causes are. So generally, for me, causes are there's a lot. So I'm going to run through them in categories. So viral infection, so like rhinovirus, rotavirus, influenza, and even coronavirus can give you diarrhea. And that's a sign that most people don't really show up with. But some do, and that's the only symptom they have. So it's good to know that. Bacterial infections like E. coli, C. diff is a big one that you can pick up in hospital. Parasites like Giardia, Cryptosporidium, roundworms, tapeworms. Giardia is a really big one that I see a little bit. So they're all things that you need to get diagnosed at the hospital for, or the doctors with. A functional disorder like IBSD. So really they can't find what it is that your diarrhea is caused from. So then it's just called IBSD. Stress, and we've all experienced this one. So it's when the sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight response, think about this one in terms of public speaking. It's the epitome of this for most of us. You get butterflies in your stomach, and it's not uncommon to get diarrhea when this happens. Fructose malabsorption is the next one. So this can often be a cause of SIBO, so small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or a consequence of SIBO. So it can be both of those things. Lactose deficiency, people get diarrhea from lactose intolerance. So it's a deficiency, I'm getting my words mixed up this morning. It's a deficiency in lactase. See, that's what happens when you have a holiday during the week. So this is a big problem worldwide. About 70 to 90% of adults lack the enzyme lactase, and so there's a huge lactose intolerant out there. Inflammatory bowel disease, so ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, those sorts of things, they need to be checked out. Traveler's diarrhea, so you need to try and prevent this, because what happens when you get traveler's diarrhea, it can eventually turn into post-infectious IBS. And I see a lot of these cases that have gone on holidays 20 years ago, never been well since. So if you're one of those people, you're likely to still have post-infectious IBS. And so you have to treat the infection even though it might have been 20 years ago, and then go on to get your gut back to normal. Celiac disease, so anybody who has chronic diarrhea for a long time or has other associations like mouth ulcers or anything like that should get tested for celiac disease. Diarrhea needs a comprehensive check from your doctor, which I'll talk about next week. And I think that's probably one of the first places to start if you've got consistent diarrhea. Inadequate bile secretion. So if you've had a gallbladder issue, you've had your gallbladder out, or you have a fatty meal, they're both things that can give people diarrhea, and I see that quite a bit as well. Hepatitis is another one. Pancreatic disease. So if you have a pancreatic tumor, or you have an insufficiency in your pancreas and you're not being able to produce enough enzymes, that can also give you diarrhea. Diabetic neuropathy, so that can give people diarrhea. Food allergies, laxative abuse, heavy metal poisoning, all those sorts of things can give diarrhea as well. This one I love because I've seen this one in action myself with my own kids. Gum or candy made from sugar alcohols. So erythritol, xylitol, mannitol, sorbitol. They all bring water into the bowel. So if you have too many of them, they'll give you diarrhea. So that big one for me is Ricola. Those little lollies, the Ricololas, which are delicious, but you eat a whole pack, you're bound to get loose bowels. Fecal impaction. So this one's a big one that most people don't know. So this means that you're constipated and you get diarrhea. So how does this happen? Basically, what happens is the constipation, the stool forms like a big plug. And what happens is the stool that's above that plug wants to get out, and it runs around the side of the actual blockage and impaction. So sometimes when I hear people say, I've got diarrhea, and I say, could you be constipated? And they go, no, but you certainly can be. It's just a lesser known cause. Cancer and cancer treatments both can cause diarrhea. Medications, so there's a stack of medications, NSAIDs, antacids, chemotherapy drugs, high blood pressure meds. So with medications, it will usually start shortly after taking the medications. So be aware of that. That's something to keep in the back of your mind if you're taking a new med. Think about that. I see this next one a lot. So supplementation with magnesium and vitamin C. And I often see people taking doses that are way too high for their body, and that causes them diarrhea. So with that, you just need to pull back the dose and you will see the diarrhea disappear. One of the other things I've seen in the last year or so since the celery juice craze. So a lot of people take celery juice and get loose bowels. So they come and say, I'm taking this and I've got diarrhea all the time. It's generally from the celery juice. It's high in fiber, so it moves things through pretty quickly. If you do a dose every other day, you'll find that the diarrhea will clear itself. So most people tolerate having diarrhea much longer than they need to. There's a lot that can be done for this condition. It does take a little while, however, to figure out what's the main cause. I think the record for the person that I've had who's had diarrhea the longest was 40 years. So don't wait 40 years because the impact of this and that this had on this person's life was enormous. So she couldn't socialize or go to restaurants. She'd effectively became an accidental recluse. So if you need some tips on your diarrhea, book in for a free 15-minute consultation so I can give you a plan to get you out of the house again and doing the things you love. For those of you who are on Instagram, the link is in the bio, and on Facebook, the link is in the heading. I've already done it. I'm ahead of the game today. See, that's what holidays will do. Hello, Katie. So I look forward to chatting with you soon. So tomorrow for Transformation Tuesday, I will be talking about diverticulosis and diverticulitis. So have a fantastic day, everyone. See you soon. Bye.